This is the only one that it like didn't give me anxiety to walk into.
Mm,
I always feel like I'm able to find somebody or two
mm,
people that I can connect with
good.
truly, where other groups I would literally just go and like sit by myself. Both the online group and the in-person group, it's one of the safest spaces I feel. And so thank you for
No,
that.
that will, oh, you're welcome. And thank you for telling me that. Today, we are welcoming Nic to Connect for Long, and it is just such an honor to have you here as both a member in our online membership and someone who's able to come in person. I'm so happy you're local. So, I would love for you to introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit more about you.
First, thank you for having me finally. I feel like it
You
has
did
been the journey to get here, so thank
it.
you.
Yes.
Again, I am Nic, Nic Kuck. I am the founder and CEO of Prep and Peony. I am an estate planner and educator that has a passion for protecting families, whether that's a traditional family. I do a lot within the special needs community. And then I really have taken a focus and a liking to working with business owners and making sure that not only we're protecting their personal assets, but now the business assets that they're working so hard to grow because that's part of their legacy. And so, yeah, that's who I am.
No, I love that. Thank you for sharing. What you do is something that a lot of people don't pay attention to. And you have shared some stories with me and with other people that I know of that there have been times where people are coming to you out of desperation of like, okay, now something horrible has happened in our family or whatever it may be. And had there been steps taken prior to something tragic happening or just God forbid something really going wrong within their family or with a person close to them, what is something that you would offer to everybody listening just to get prepared now before things are in this chokehold of like, now what? What
Yeah,
would you say?
I think, well, you're right. So the idea of estate planning, I think it's a misconception that you have to be like uber wealthy to even consider it, right? An estate plan is genuinely just putting wishes on paper in the case of an emergency. That's it. Doesn't matter how much you have, how much, how little, how widespread it might be. It is putting that plan in place. It is incredibly imperative if you have minor children,
Mm.
because that to me is always first and foremost the most important part is to make sure there's a plan together for your kids. Nobody likes to talk about it because the reality, I talked to somebody today actually, and they were like, I know, but when my husband and I talk about it, it's like, yeah, maybe we could pick this person, but also I don't want to pick that person because they're not me. And I get that.
Mhm.
However, I have seen family members pass unexpectedly or go into the hospital. And while this chaos was ensuing, because nothing was legally documented, then over here, there were two other family members that were arguing over who could take the kids. And because nothing could get settled, then those kids, even though we were all here, all of us, so many options were here and present, they still went into state care for a little bit until the legal stuff could be worked out. That to me is what's heartbreaking. Getting an estate plan done, putting your legacy plan together isn't going to, I can't promise that an emergency won't happen, but the goal is that it will make it a lot less chaotic for those left behind or handling the situation if you do have that plan in place.
No, that makes so much sense. And you said, even with talking to this person today, where they said, oh, we don't really want to talk about that, or not this person, not that person. And as you explain it in that way, what would be scarier?
Right.
Choosing someone that you know you care about and cares about your kids, and maybe it won't be exactly you because you may not be able to be the caregiver for your children at that point, or not having anything in place and then something like the state coming in and then your children won't be with anyone that they know. So I
What's
feel like
even worse is I've had families who have individuals,
mm,
in-laws at any level
yeah.
that they are an absolute like, no, this person cannot have access to my children or my assets. But when nothing's legally documented, there's a lot that can go wrong when that person does come out of the woodwork and be like, well, actually, I would like, I think I have access to their assets. I should be part of their air group. All of those things. Do they generally win? No. But does it hold up the process and make it unbelievably hard for everyone else? Yeah. But if I could eliminate that, the idea for me personally was always it's not going to make the grieving any easier. It's not going to make the grieving any less, but it will eliminate anything extra and allow my family to grieve
Mm,
whatever it is that they're grieving because I'm in the hospital, because I'm no longer here, whatever the case is.
mhm,
And it gives them the space to do that because we have the peace of mind as a family
mm.
that everything else is taken care of. And I'm not saying there's no work to be done either
Of
once you
course.
have your legacy plan done, but I'm just talking about, like you had said, like that emergency, chaotic feeling of, oh my goodness, what now?
Mhm.
That kind of dissipates and it leaves space for a little bit of quiet in the midst of a storm.
Mm. No, that is so true. And I can speak firsthand because you helped my husband and I look at our trust and will and situation and the things, some of the things that you were pointing out and noticing, I had never really paid attention to, as well as some of the things that maybe we needed to update or change. So this is not a one and done thing. So I would love for you to explain some of the services that you offer and ways that we could work with you or just really pay attention to the legacy planning that you do.
Yeah, thank you. So, my favorite thing to do in the world is to educate. So, I offer workshops whenever I can get there. Like, whenever somebody says, Nick, do you want to give a workshop? My answer is almost undoubtedly yes. When? So, that's part of the first part of what I offer are workshops because I want to educate the masses without going into all of my story. Like, I'm in this because of my own personal story. And I want people to know there's so much that you don't know. And I want to be able to just give you that.
Yeah.
So workshops are one. I do free audits. So a lot of people will say like, "Oh, I've gotten that down," or we did that years ago." And to your point,
Mhm.
a lot of it is outdated. A lot of it, for a lot of people, when they get estate planning done, which is what makes prep and peony a little bit different, is you submit some information. The drafter, which is generally an estate planning attorney, excuse me, will just hand you your, have you come in, notarize. Sometimes they even just mail them with tabs and you go and you get it notarized. And then you're like, okay, we're good. And nobody looks at it ever again. And you don't actually know what you have in your hand. You
Mhm.
don't know what it is, you don't know what it means. So, part of my process when I'm working with a family, whether it's through an audit, so if you already have documents, my goal is to look through that. And even if it is an ironclad plan, I'm still going to go over it with you and say, like, hey, this is what you have, just so you know, this is who's listed. Because depending on what you had, how long ago it was done, it gives you an opportunity to relearn or reconsider things
Mhm.
that are in that. When I work with a family that has nothing in place, then the way that we work together is I call it prep it together, right? Because the idea is, well, you do have some front end work to do in terms of like what's called a vault online. You submit some of your information. I utilize that to start preparing documents. Our meeting isn't just a sign and go meeting, I'll be honest. It is an opportunity for us to review your documents and essentially give you your own mini workshop on what you are taking home so that you understand what next steps are. You understand that just signing those pieces of paper when it comes to your assets, just because you've signed a trust doesn't mean anything. Without doing the next steps, it's just an expensive piece of paper.
Yeah.
Well, an expensive pack of papers because it's pretty thick. But if you don't do the next steps because you don't understand what it is you're actually signing, then it's a moot point, right? It's been a waste of money. And then your family's still going through the chaos at the end of the day. And so my goal, again, really always comes back to serving families in a way that they understand what they have. And usually that's through any way that I can educate them.
No, that is so incredible. And I've appreciated you coming to Connect Belong in person and doing this workshop with us. So many people had questions and then they were thinking, oh, wait, I haven't done that yet. Or even if whether they have children right now or are planning to, or maybe they're not even married yet, whatever it may be. But
Well, and a lot of
everybody,
women in Collect Belong are business owners, right?
yes,
They're working on
absolutely.
building their business. That is an extra part of a workshop that I give, right? Because that's something different.
Yeah.
that everybody over the age of 18 should have some legal documents done.
No, that
And
is
so
so,
just bringing that to light and letting people understand that.
no, it's so true. Even some of the ladies have older children or children that are maybe even out of the house that, oh, wait, they need something too. Or even when mentioned my mom, and luckily she was there to listen to this too and said, oh my gosh, I need to schedule an appointment with her as well. So,
Yeah.
with that being said, do you do all online appointments? So, no matter where somebody is, will they be able to have an opportunity to work with you?
Yeah, it depends on the scope and the
Yeah.
capacity, right?
Okay.
So I primarily focus, so I'm a certified legal document preparer.
Mhm.
I'm certified by the Arizona Supreme Court. I'm working on that certification in California as well.
Great.
But what that does is that allows me to prepare legal documents that don't need representation by an attorney in order to be valid, right? Because when you have an estate plan and somebody passes and a will has to go through probate. And if your assets are protected, they don't have to go, but your will has to go through probate. And a lawyer does not have, you don't need a lawyer to do that, which means your documents don't need to be drafted by an attorney. Your documents can be drafted by a certified legal document preparer. That said, I think sometimes people are like, well, do you really understand? Full disclosure, I still have to take just as many continuing education credits as an attorney every single year. It just didn't take me the front end.
Mm.
I got to only focus on what I wanted to do, which was just to be able to educate and draft papers. So I virtually meet with anybody, any client. I will always hold a virtual consultation. An initial consultation is always at no cost. And I will always listen to a family to help them decipher what their needs are. And then based on that conversation, anybody for sure in Arizona and in California, I can draft their documents.
Okay.
In other states, it just depends on that specific state because it depends on their state regulations.
Okay.
Some states allow third-party drafters to come in and
Mhm.
those to be considered valid. Other states do not. And so it really just depends on where they are. But I also am really blessed in that I do have a network of associates across the country that if they're in a place where I can't perform the documents for them, I can work in tandem with somebody that can.
Okay, great. No, I love that. And I just want everyone listening to know that they have someone on their side now, which is you. And even if you're not in Arizona or California, you have somebody to go
Yeah,
to as a resource in
as
there.
a
So,
resource, as
yes,
a resource for sure.
that is incredible. Thank you so much for sharing all about what you do. And I am so grateful to know you and have you a part of Connect Belong. And I would just love to know how you feel about the Connect Belong community and just what keeps you coming back.
Yeah, I think I saw your information once on somebody I followed. Don't even know how. And I connected and you said, come to my house for free. And I was like, this lady must be crazy. Putting it out there.
A little, yeah.
And I walked in and it was one of the most immediately safe spaces I think I've ever been a part of. And I've been a part of in the past, over my last 5 years of business, 6 years of business, a lot of networking groups. You're often told as a business owner, like, it's about who you connect with, it's about who you know, it's about your network. And I'm not saying that that's not the case. But what I've learned is all of that only matters if you feel comfortable and safe enough to interact within those groups, right? And at the end of 2025, I actually stopped participating those that didn't cost money. I cut off memberships for all those that did, and all other in-person and most online. I have some that I still like to be a part of, but especially I don't go to any other in-person networking groups because they didn't fill my cup. Going always left me more anxious, and it always was a feeling of always thinking of all the other things that I could do. Where walking into your home and getting to see women at Connect Belong, the only word that comes to mind, the first word is always safe. Like I just feel safe there and I don't have to try. Like that's the best part. Some days I curl my hair and I put on a cute shirt, and other days I've come in a hooded sweatshirt and sweatpants because that's what my morning brought me. And everybody still talked to me the same, and everybody still asked how I was doing. And I think that that's what led me in, and that's what's kept me there for so long. And that's what drew me into joining online as well, is I wanted the opportunity to grow deeper with these women that I'm getting to see once a month. But like if I can talk to them more, learn more about them, learn more about how even I might be able to serve them, like this group just feels right.
I love that so much. Thank you. And
Oh, thank you for
of
just creating that
course.
space.
No, I'm so glad. And I'm so glad you feel comfortable to come as you are because it doesn't matter what you're wearing or if it's day 3 hair. I want this. I literally leave my door open. Physically, literally, it's open
When
the
I left
whole
today, I
time.
was like,
Yeah.
is your dog gonna go back
I,
inside?
I know. I know. Thankfully, my dog doesn't run away, so she just kind of goes in and out and walks
Uh-huh.
in between our feet all the whole time. But I'm just so grateful that you are able to articulate the words that you feel when you're here, and the fact that you feel just safe and loved and seen as you are for who you are is the exact reason that this group even started. So
Right.
I'm so happy that you have been able to connect with so many people and you have been an example of exactly what I had envisioned by pouring into one another. It's not just about me pouring in or one person pouring in. It literally is we're pouring into each other. And then some days we're the ones who need to be poured into. And then other days we're like, oh, I can just disperse my energy throughout everybody. So it's just so lovely to
I
see
loved this
you.
morning that I got to not meet. There's a woman there that I've seen many meetings, that I've seen online multiple times, and we've connected in our online meetings. But like it was today that we both had like nobody standing in front of us. Like we had finished conversations and we like immediately were like, finally.
I love that.
And it was just, it's not that we didn't know each other, but like we had this opportunity to truly
Mhm.
connect.
Yeah.
And it was great because I already felt like I knew her, but then to just really get to deep dive because last week or last month I was talking to 6 other women, right? It's
Mhm.
just, and every single one of them just makes you feel so welcome. Every single woman in that room.
Oh, I'm so glad. And I'm just so grateful that you are a part of it and that you have something really special too. There are a few photographers here, there's a few realtors, there's a few people in different industries, and you have something so special and so niche that it's so beautiful because anyone who needs someone like you or in the realm of what you do, you have been just such an incredible resource. I'll never stop saying that and never stop
That
sending
means a
people
lot.
your way. And I'm just so happy that you have found a space where you feel safe. And I'm just beyond blessed that it's this space. So I
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for all that you're doing. And where can everyone find you? I'll put it below in the description, but I would love to know where we can find you and where you hang out most.
Thank you. So, full disclosure, I'm a mediocre social media poster.
Okay.
However, I'm working on that. I brought in some people to maybe help me with that.
Good.
However, you can find me online. Instagram mostly, it's going to be at prep and peony, like the flower. And then my website is the same, prepandpeony.com. And
I,
that gives you just a wealth of information. I utilized it as like another opportunity to educate, but a lot of FAQs, a lot of opportunities to connect with me so that I can help and serve however is needed.
I love that. And on your website, is there also a space for people to request the audit or be able to
Yep.
connect with you on there?
Yes. So
Okay, great.
there are some contact forms, there's direct scheduling forms, whatever it is that they
Great.
feel like they are needing and where they are in their journey of to plan or not to plan, I
Mhm.
have options.
I love that. Thank you so much for being here
Thank you,
today, Nick. I
Kara.
appreciate you and I can't wait to see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.